Hey guys, Loco here with my favorite swole bro, Don't Tell Golden Glue. How are you doing, Sven?
Doing great, thank you.
So today, C9 played Echo Fox, and you guys ended up playing everyone's favorite bottom lane, Sonateric. One thing that was interesting to me is usually when you play Sonateric, you usually draft it with a lot of melee carries like Hecarim and especially more carries in top lane, but you guys played it with two range carries in Azir and Nico. Is this a new way of playing Sonateric? Because to me, a regular viewer, it looked pretty bad.
I think our comp was pretty good. We have Azir for the sustained DPS, so we don't really need something from the jungle to do it. Usually you try to get like solid jungler to do it. But I think Jarvan fits the role pretty well because if we don't have Azir, I can just go AD Jarvan and I fulfill the booster like role. But since we had, in my opinion, we had enough DPS, so I just went for the Spirit Resist first item, which is just totally bonkers with Sonateric. 30% more healing, like I'll never die. So I thought it was like our comp was definitely alright.
So when I understand Sonateric, I understand it as infinite sustain, but also a really great diving comp. Can you explain to me why having ranged DPS is also a fine way of playing Sonateric?
Because with the Jarvan, we're pretty diverse. We can actually dive with the Taggled on Jarvan, and everyone just goes in. But I think a lot of times on stage, the games tend to go like more front to back. So the Azir, it basically just depends on what Nisqy want to pick there. Like if he picks someone that can go in with us, then we're just gonna dive because our team comp can also do that with Nico, Jarvan, and Taggled. So basically just depends on what Nisqy picks there.
So a key point about playing against Sonateric is diving it early and making sure it gets crushed in lane. And Echo Fox was trying to set up early game dives, but you were right there. Did you know before the game even started that they would be doing that, or did you read it within the game? How did you know that was going to happen?
I think it's pretty easy to read that every team, once they see Sonateric, are gonna panic and like they just need to like demolish bot lane, and it's our job to make sure that our bot lane does not get demolished. So that's kind of like a mini game. Whenever Sonateric is in the game, like one team is just defending and the other team is trying to attack. So it's pretty easy to read when they're gonna go for it. Anytime there's a big wave building, we just need to be ready to be there. So yeah, pretty easy.
So C9 recently had a coaching pickup in Reignover, and Reignover is a jungler that's notoriously famous for how well he planned that early pathing. So I'm very curious, how has he been adding to the C9 coaching staff and especially to the jungle role?
So Reignover is someone I've always had a lot of respect for. Like I used to play against him back all the way back in season 5, and I was on SK Gaming. He joined Fnatic. We were on the El Clasico or whatever against each other, and he always beat me back then. So the year after, we both went to NA at the same time, joined two pretty good teams. So I just had a lot of history against him, and I think he always just made me grow as a player because I always learned so much playing against him. So I was super excited to pick him up for positional coach or just coaching staff in general because I've always felt like he was just very smart about the game. But the only thing he was lacking at, I guess, was just like if the plan didn't go that well, then like he was too focused on the plan. So whenever the plan didn't go too well, like he wouldn't really know what to do, like be dynamic enough. But he's really helpful for us because some of the problems we had was really like being too relaxed about the early game and not really having certain goals for the early game. But he's just making sure that every single early game we are trying to do something, so the enemy team like have to respect us. Yeah.
So Nisqy had a pretty good year as not a rookie, but a new player back to NA last split. This split, it's very important for him to step up in order for you guys to challenge teams like Team Liquid, Team Solo Mid. How is he developing, and are you confident in his development?
So I think Nisqy is pretty good. I think his last split, there was just certain things that he wasn't as good at. I think him and Licorice is pretty similar. When Licorice joined the team in last year, he also had some things he had to work on for Summer Split, and then he was able to like just become super fucking good by the end of Summer Split because his experience in Spring, and then Reboot was telling him like a lot of stuff to work on. So right now I see a similar trend with Nisqy where there's certain things that he had to work on during Spring Split, and he's just trying his hardest to like improve on those for Summer. So definitely if he just keeps improving those things, like he's gonna be super good for playoffs.
So recently at MSI, TL made it all the way to finals, and it's kind of C9's thing to do well at international while all the other teams kind of fail, not make it out of groups. How was it watching as a C9 member, seeing TL do well at MSI?
So initially watching MSI, I'm just gonna be honest that I wanted TL to lose because obviously Jensen left us, but after I saw them do so well, like even just made it out of groups, I started cheering for them because I kind of like got over the whole Jensen left us thing. Like just wanted him to do well now because he actually like really, he just always shows up at the international events. So it's pretty respectable that like one player can just really be so fucking good at international events. Obviously they ended up losing still to Caps, which we also lost against Caps. So it's pretty sad to see that Caps still 3-0s Jensen, or just us in general, I guess. But I was still like just cheering for TL because they're really doing well.
So with G2 winning MSI, all teams must be watching G2. Are you guys studying from G2, learning from G2? Now with ProView out and EULCS finally playing their first 2 games?
Yeah, so regardless is going to be pretty interesting because obviously we're going to play against the best teams in Europe, and as of right now, then Europe is the best region in the world. So it's going to be interesting because going up against G2, we have a lot of scrims against them during our boot camp we just came from, and we scrimmed them, and they're just so aggressive that it makes the games like very spicy. There's just fights 24/7, so kind of if we don't go for those fights, we just get rolled over. So we kind of have to just like stoop to that level of just pure fighting to like really be able to match them. So I think it's going to be some pretty entertaining games.
Oh, bonus question. Do you view yourself as European or North American nowadays? You've been here for such a long time, but you've also played in Europe for such a long time. It's not like Bjergsen, where he almost started his career in NA. You actually started in Europe.
I view myself as European, so I get to get those European playstyle hopefully. But I mean, I've been here so long that I guess a lot of people might not even know that I'm European or whatever. So a lot of the new fans don't know, like this thing I'm American. But obviously I view myself as European and take pride in that.
Svenskeren, thank you so much for the interview. And if you guys enjoyed the coverage, don't forget to subscribe. Hey guys, thank you for watching the interview. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Also, if you're not subscribed to me, there should be a button somewhere where you can click and you can subscribe to me. And also, if you want to check out more content, there should be a video somewhere up here that you can click. And lastly, thank you to Lowkey community for making all this possible.